Let's get back into this interview now. Recently, Deputy President David Mabuza convened and chaired a meeting of the political task team on Eskom. Recovery of municipal debt was the primary focus. Rising municipal debts pose a serious risk to Eskom's long-term financial sustainability and contribute significantly to liquidity challenges facing the power. So we've been discussing this now with South African Local Government Association President Councillor Thembisile Nkadimeng. Thanks again, Thembisile, for staying with us here on the program to just continue talking about this issue. And as we spoke to the fact that a lot of areas have been experiencing blackouts, no electricity for a long time, and these are in all provinces, can we now attribute this to the fact that there's been a lack, or they are being cut off because of a lack of payment? Is this what you understand is some of the situations? Obviously, there may be power problems, but in and amongst all of this, it's due to non-payment.
Yes, Leon, and hence the Deputy President, the task team formation to intervene, and hence a recommendation adopted by the committee for the Ombudsman to assist the 10 billion that is owed by government, 18 billion in total, including the state-owned enterprises owned by government, and the remainder that is owned by households, of course, including business. Business in the main pays. Commercially, yes, there are debts which are there, but they are not insurmountable. The fact of the matter is when we have signed 20 agreements and only one municipality is able to honor agreements according to how they signed to pay for the debt with Eskom, it indicates that 19 of them are unable to do that. And that's a huge problem. And this 20 makes 80% of the 28 billion that is owed. So you could see that that's where the chunk we need to push. And I said 40% of this is in the Free State. So we need to be able to find a solution on how do we review our budgets with national treasuries, municipalities, forceful cuts in some other areas to pay Eskom. Otherwise, Eskom will then still not be able to honor its supply of energy to our communities. And that's where the problem will be. Well, so we're in a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious circle, it really is. But can we still say, is it correct to say that we are producing enough power for total consumption as it stands right now?
I think as it stands right now, remember yesterday the CEO of Eskom only said they will begin with load shedding in July. The areas which have been cut for now were in municipalities, where those which are exceeding the agreement that they should be drawing of power, which is what we call notified maximum demand. Why are they exceeding is that in the main, one, we possibly couldn't plan properly how many people are there, or we're facing spatial movement of people from one area to the other, and it forces you to increase the number of people who are drawing electricity from you. And in the main, those municipalities which are exceeding the agreement of how much power they must utilize per month by Eskom, they've got the highest number of illegal connections. So I think Eskom up until June should be in a position to provide energy to everybody, because their planned load shedding is starting in July. Where load shedding is currently happening now, it's mostly on the top 20 municipalities in Mpumalanga, in the main, who are in breach of their payment agreements, and Eskom is now finding it difficult to continue providing power because they've not been honoring their agreements very well.
Which you've emphasized to us as well. In terms of power stations, are you aware, are they all being worked on at this moment? I mean, we talk of Madupi, Kusile and Ingula power stations.
Well, yes, Eskom sit as part of the task team. The understanding I have may not be technical details, but overall, they have been utilizing the COVID period to also maintain their substations, though I may not have the breakdown of whatever substation and to what capacity it is. They are in a position to offer energy until the end of June. The Eskom CEO was saying live yesterday by 1st July, they should be bringing in, phased in load shedding. But currently the load shedding we're facing is because of our municipal problems.
as we wrap up, talk to us about the situation with regard to prepaid electricity. You did touch on it briefly before. Perhaps you can give us an update. And are we hoping that the next Eskom political task team meeting will bring about a permanent solution to what's happening with prepaid electricity?
The Deputy President has also called on a meeting again shortly to try to look into remedies. They are not the only, smart meters are not the only remedies that we would want a route to be taken by municipalities. But also there are remedies which are coming from structural and governance areas of municipalities, but also in terms of the law. There is a lack of appreciation even from our community members who afford to pay municipalities. They pay everything else, but don't want to pay a municipal bill. So that could be linked, yes, to corruption and maladministration and no proper use of money. But how do we engage with such a household and say it's important to utilize the energy and pay for it? A smart meter, it's a take-on system. You can't use what you have not paid for. It's a point in a smart direction, but we have to deal with the debt before we could reach the smart meter area. And I think that's what we are trying to engage on.
The President of SALGA talking to us, Thembisile Nkadimeng. Thanks very, very much for your time. Focusing on Eskom's load shedding and the municipalities that are not paying, that are now, of course, cutting off electricity to respective communities because they are not paying their bills. So that was the crux of the interview. We're going to take a break. When we return, we've